Let's talk about David Goggins. His philosophy isn't just about being physically tough. It's actually a repeatable blueprint for mastering your own mind. So we're going to break down his framework for building that unstoppable mental fortitude. It all starts with a simple but really powerful idea.
It all kicks off right here. Goggins says your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. But that kind of power brings up a pretty critical question. And this is the central conflict of his entire philosophy. Are you in command of that weapon, or is it in command of you? See, that's the real battle, and it's happening inside your head every single day.
So Goggins frames this as a kind of duality. Your brain has two modes. It can be your absolute greatest asset, or it can be your biggest single weakness.
This chart just lays out the choice perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got your mind's default setting. It's always seeking comfort. It's a master at making excuses, and its go-to is fear. But on the other side, well, that's you stepping up and taking control. You're the one who sets a purpose, enforces discipline, and builds strength. The key here, though, is that you have to actively choose to be in control. So, how do you actually take control? Well, the first pillar of his philosophy is brutally simple. It's called the repetition rule.
He was negatively buoyant, he kept failing his swim test. His solution wasn't some clever trick or a secret technique. Nope, it was just relentless, brute force repetition. He just kept going back, again and again and again.
The process is almost painfully simple. You attempt the task, and guess what? You're going to fail. That's a guarantee. The critical step, the one that changes everything, is number 3. Do not stop. You just go back again. This isn't about finding a new way to do it. It's about proving to your own mind that quitting is no longer on the table. And this is where the magic happens, the psychological payoff. Once your mind truly understands that you are not going to give up, it stops fighting you. It stops wasting all that energy looking for an easy way out, and instead it redirects all of its power to a new goal, figuring out how to adapt and overcome. Now, this idea of relentless repetition builds directly into his next pillar, which is probably his most famous concept. You have to intentionally make suffering your new normal.
Goggins calls this your new norm. What you're doing is fundamentally recalibrating your definition of normal. You're shifting it away from comfort and moving it toward productive hardship. This forces your mind to adapt. It has no choice but to grow stronger.
And you got to understand, for Goggins, this wasn't some kind of metaphor. During SEAL training, he was dealing with constant injuries, and he just reframed his entire reality. Being broken was his new normal. That became his baseline for just existing. By accepting this crazy reality, he literally rewired his brain. His mind started to see toughness as the default state. The goal wasn't just to survive the pain, it was to make that pain basically irrelevant background noise.
Okay, the third pillar is what locks it all into place. After you've embraced repetition and made suffering your new normal, you have to remove every single escape route.
The rule is simple, but it is absolute. You make a commitment that is so total that quitting isn't even a mental option anymore. There is no plan B. And the effect of this is profound. See, your brain is an efficiency machine. The moment it knows there's no exit, it stops wasting precious energy looking for one. All of that mental power gets redirected to the only path left, forward. It becomes completely obsessed with solving the problem that's right in front of it.
His strategy was total immersion. He didn't just participate in Hell Week, he decided he was going to own it. He became the devil in that hell. He became the boss, the owner, the CEO of his own suffering. He reframed the entire experience to put himself in a position of power, even in hell.
So where does all this lead? This combination of repetition, a new normal, and having no way out, it all has one single purpose: to help you discover your true potential.
Just look at this. On the left, you see David Goggins at what he thought was his 100% potential. And on the right, that's what he actually became. The gap between what we think our limits are and what our true potential is, it's just massive for most of us. And here's the catch. You don't find this potential just by trying a little harder. Goggins is really clear about this. You only uncover it when you become obsessed, when your effort goes so far beyond what anyone else would consider reasonable. We're all taught to seek comfort and avoid pain. Goggins argues the complete opposite is true. Our real character is forged in hardship. It's through that daily accountability of pushing through suffering that we discover who we really are. And this might be the most surprising part of the whole thing. The goal of all this struggle, it wasn't just more struggle. It was peace. But it's a very specific kind of peace, one that you can only find on the other side of your greatest trials, when you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are in control.
So, the final question really is for you. We all have things we just accept as normal. A limitation, a comfort zone, an excuse we keep telling ourselves. The Goggins mindset asks you to identify that one thing and go to war with it. So what normal part of your life should you be fighting?